Okay, good morning. It's 9:35, and I will call this meeting of the Regional Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District to order, and ask the clerk to please call the roll to establish a quorum.
Good morning. Member Daniels?
Here.
Frost? Here. Swin?
Here.
Singh Allen?
Here.
Kennedy?
Here.
Robles?
Here.
Sander?
Here.
Hume?
Here.
Orozco?
Here.
Aquino?
Here.
Cerna?
Here.
Valenzuela?
Here.
Bang?
Here.
Kaplan?
Here.
Villegas?
Here.
And Desmond.
Here.
And you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, and welcome all the new faces this morning. I'd ask Director Soon to please lead us in the pledge.
Good morning, hand over heart, ready, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Soon. Madam Clerk, please read the statement and public comment procedures.
In compliance with the directives of the County, State, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the meeting is live streamed and open to public attendance pursuant to health and safety guidelines. The practice of social distancing and wearing of face coverings, mask, or shield is recommended for the health and safety of all persons participating in person during the meeting, although it is not required. To make a public comment, please complete a speaker request form and hand it to the clerk. The chairperson will call your name when it is your turn to make a comment. Members of the public may also dial 916-875-2501 and follow the prompts when the chair opens public comment for a specific agenda item or off-agenda matter. Callers will be contacted by phone and transferred into the meeting to make their public comment. You may also send a written comment to boardclerk@saccounty.gov, and your comment will be routed to the board and filed in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and Sacramento Area Sewer District is being broadcast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel, on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T UVerse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay Sunday, January 15th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. This meeting can also be viewed at youtube.com/metrocable14. In accordance with the Government Code 54952.3, compensation for the meeting of these legislative bodies is required to be verbally disclosed. The amount of $100 will be paid for each member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District, and the amount of $100 will be paid for each board member participating today as a member of the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Compensation for Sacramento County Supervisors and City of Sacramento Council members is paid to the county and city respectively to partially offset the cost of those governments. Compensation for other board members is delivered to the individuals. And that concludes my announcements.
Okay, thank you. And we will start with Sanitation District, Sewer District, separate matters. Item number 1.
Sorry. Item number 1 is election of chair and vice. Item 1 is election of chair and vice chair for the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and the Sacramento Area Sewer District Board, and Christoph Dobson.
Okay, Christoph,
Right.
morning.
Good morning, Chair and board members, and welcome all the new faces and returning faces as well. So this is our first meeting of the year. We go through a process to elect our chair and vice chair. And first, I want to start off by thanking Chair Desmond for your service for an entire year of being one of the few, if only, people in this room on the board dais.
Director Villegas and I were the diehards here.
There were a few. There were a few from time to time, but we definitely appreciate your service over the year. And with that, I'll kind of go through the process of how this works. Basically, it's a 2-year commitment. You start out in the vice chair role, and then you move to the chair in the second year. And then what we do is we alternate between the county, Sacramento County Board of Supervisors and the city members. So there will always be one County Board of Supervisors member and one city member. So, for example, if the chair, in this case, is with the county, then the vice chair will be with a city, and the following year that will just switch the order, and you just continue back and forth. So we have a kind of an order that's already been established over the years, and so the recommendation that I have, it's obviously it's your prerogative how your board wants to move forward, but if you follow past practice, the current vice chair of Sac Sewer, which is David Sander, would move into the chair role, and then Pat Hume would come in as the representative for the Board of Supervisors. That would just follow the standard order. The twist a little bit this year and last year, actually it started last year, is that I brought in the perspective that West Sacramento had not served on the board before as a chair or vice chair. And the reason for that is because West Sacramento is not on the Sac Sewer board. And it just creates a logistical problem, which is that you could end up with then having to have two chairs. And since our meetings are joint like this, it just gets pretty clunky. So what happened last year is everyone said, well, let's basically they voted in Director Sander for Sac Sewer and Director Orozco for Regional San, and kind of deferred that decision to this year. So here we are, and the nice thing is that we're in the process of going through and merging the two districts and merging the boards. And we believe that we will be successful within the next year in doing that. And so the recommendation is based on the fact that we could come back and bring West Sacramento in next year to get back into the rotation. So that's why the recommendation is the way it is.
So in other words, one option then could be, if we stayed with the kind of precedent, it could be Director Sander elevates the chair with Supervisor Hume as vice chair, but then the next time it rotates to a city, West Sac wouldn't be eligible, obviously.
Yes. So
that without having some of these logistical challenges that you're describing.
Right. If you kind of followed suit with that, next year you would nominate West Sacramento to come in as the vice chair. Yeah.
Okay, I'll open it up for any member comments or questions. Director Frost?
I nominate Director Sanders as chair and Director Hume as vice chair.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Vice Chair Sander to elevate to chair and Director Hume to become vice chair. Any other comments or questions from directors? Any online?
I do not see anyone with their hand raised.
Any public comments?
We did not receive any requests to speak, and there's no one in chambers.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
And that's a motion by Member Frost and a second by Member Suen, who are both a part of the Regional Sanitation District and the Sacramento Area Sewer District. Member Daniels?
Aye.
Frost?
Aye.
Suen?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Robles?
Aye.
Sander?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
Orozco?
Aye.
Aquino?
Aye.
Cerna?
Aye.
Valenzuela?
Yes.
Bang?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Villegas?
Yes.
And Desmond?
Aye.
And the motion carries by unanimous vote.
Okay, well, thank you. And with that, I just thank you for allowing me to serve as chair for the last year. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I look forward to continuing to serve as a director. And with that, I will figuratively turn the gavel over to Chair Sander.
Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you for your guidance this past year. You have done so in some somewhat challenging times, and I think we're all appreciative of your efforts there. So I'm also really glad that we can get over this sort of sticky wicket of West Sacramento and appropriate representation by merging these two districts. Clearly that was the motivation for doing it. So I'm glad that we can accomplish it in that manner. But seriously, that representational issue is of great import. We're going to move on with our agenda to item number 2.
Item number 2 is the One District Quarterly Report, January 2023. We do have a presentation.
Great. Good morning, Chair. I'm Mike Hewitt, Director of Policy and Planning, and I'm proud to present the first One District Quarterly Report, along with 2 of my colleagues, Matt Doyle and Tepa Banda.
We need better audio.
I just turned his microphone on, so hopefully that will
There
help.
we go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so what is the One District Project? Well, it's a project made up of 3 initiatives to help regional sand and SAC sewer become more nimble, more efficient, and emerge as one entity with its own staffing and more financial independence. I am the sponsor. Let me jump ahead here. Okay, so I'm the sponsor of the legal merger initiative, which is combining regional sand and SAC sewer into one entity. Matt Doyle is the project sponsor for the Staffing and Support Services Transition Initiative, which is transitioning the labor and staff support from the county to the districts. And TEPA is the project sponsor for the Finance Treasury Services Initiative transition, which is essentially moving the debt reserves to the districts, along with the investment management and treasury responsibilities. So you're going to hear a similar format and a similar story for each initiative. I'm going to talk about the 2022 accomplishments, overview of the schedule, and a bit of a look ahead with this initiative. So back over the summer, staff and the board met and agreed that merging the districts would be in the district's best interest. And in August 2022, the board directed staff to implement the legal merger process, which the key components of that is establishing the governance structure and a naming convention for this new entity. The board governance committee was established to be sort of a sounding board and to discuss with staff the governance structure options and a naming convention recommendation. After just one meeting, the governance committee and staff agreed upon a recommendation to the full board on a naming convention and governance structure. So in November 2022, just a couple months ago, staff brought forward the name recommended for this new entity, which is the Sacramento Area Sewer District, also known as SAC Sewer for short, and maintaining the governance structure of regional SAN, which is population-based. It's currently a 17-person board, and it's made up of, since the city of Sacramento has a pretty large population, they have 5 board members. The city of Elk Grove has 2 board members, and the other cities have 1 each. And then it also includes the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors and a Yolo County representative. So, and then also, along with the merging process, we looked at the Finance Authority JPA and realized that we needed to update that too. The current JPA is made up of 2 partners, the agreement, Regional Sand and SAC Sewer. So when you merge them together, you only have one party and you really can't have an agreement with just one party. So we had to look elsewhere to find another partner, which we were successful in. We found that Central Contra Costa Sanitary District is looking to do something similar in regards to having more finance mechanisms. Let me back up a little bit. The Finance Authority allows and provides some financing mechanisms for the district, such as some bond financing and some other finance mechanisms. Central Contra Costa Sanitary District are looking to have the same flexibility and some of the same funding mechanisms. So they're in agreement to become part of this JPA going forward. Just a quick overview of the schedule. From a timeline perspective, we anticipate having this merger complete within a year, which includes getting LAFCO review and approval. The process for LAFCO review has already started, and we expect that to be completed here later this half of the year, and shortly after, hopefully, an approval by the commission. And then during this time, we're going to continue reaching out and communicating with our stakeholders and maintaining, really, we got a high level of support from all entities, our stakeholders, our board, throughout the area. So we're going to continue with some mass communications out to folks, along with some key milestones that we reach with LAFCO. And then legislation is supposed to be hopefully complete by next January, which will really settle and establish the new name for the merged entity. One thing we're happy about is this schedule is staying intact and is progressing on time. This is going to allow us, when we do our staff transition from the county to the districts, to be able to move that staff from the county into one district instead of moving it into two districts and then later merging and having to bring those staff together, which creates a number of other steps and can be more complicated. So looking forward, like I said, we have 1 year to complete the LAFCO review and the legislation. We're internally looking at streamlining processes in documentation, figuring out what documents, processes, branding needs to be merged, and the timing for that. Do we need to merge something before the merger actually happens, maybe sometime during that time frame, or maybe do we just wait until later on at some time? Excuse me. One example you can relate to is our board letters. You know, as we merge into one district, we're going to take two board letter templates and we'll become one. You know, what does that look like? What's the timing for doing that? That's just one of many examples. And again, like I alluded to earlier, we're going to continue communicating not only with our stakeholders, but with our employees and staff as well throughout this process. And then your board is going to see an amended Finance Authority JPA within the year, most likely pretty close to when the legislation gets approved and the naming gets settled. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Matt Doyle for the Staff Services Transition Initiative.
Over this a little bit. Good morning. I guess I would be past chair and board members, and Happy New Year. So I'm the sponsor for the merger. My name is Matthew Doyle. I'm the Director of Internal Services Department. And 2023 is going to be very exciting. 2022, we had a lot of accomplishments. First and foremost, we had the board approval in August, and we laid out a variety of options. And originally, the first two options were kind of recommended from a consultant a few years back. And as we started to go through this process, we identified a third option, which is option 3, and that was what was approved. And just to review, we got a lot of new staff, or a lot of new board members. It was basically to jointly review the remaining support services that the county provides to districts, and then work with the county to determine what makes sense on a case-by-case basis rather than just all or nothing approach. The districts are currently engaged in transitioning 9 areas of service. We have about 11 or 12. And mind you, that can be a little deceiving because those are major buckets. Within those buckets, there's like HR, I think I've counted lastly, it was like 12 or 13 different services in that generic service bucket. But we are transitioning 9 of those major services. HR services transition started in November. That's one of our more complex services and is taking a lot of effort and expertise. We even received or got a HR manager 2 in-house, which is exciting. And so we have internal staff now that can start helping out with that transition process. We also have some specialty consultants, especially with some of our more complex services that we don't necessarily have the skill set. We have them on board, identified, and some of them are coming on board shortly or are already on board. Here's the staffing schedule. As you may recall, at least for the ones, the board members that have been on since last year, we have a few that are identified that we're going to continue that service through the county. And so we're going to extend the MOUs for that, and that would include the clerk of the board, IT via DTech, and the Cubs, basically our billing service. We want to have that done on or around July 2023. I think we'll be able to hit that schedule for sure. We have not had the meeting for the clerk of the board yet, but we have worked with and are in the process of working on the MOUs for IT and Cubs, and we don't anticipate any issues. We seem to be pretty much in agreement with that. We also have a kind of a goal of transitioning fleet services by July 1st of 2023. We also want to transition some of the HR services such as employee relations, recruitment, medical leaves and balances by September 2023, and that would include getting some additional HR in-house support. We're looking at 3 to 4 positions on top of our HR manager too, to start helping with that transition process. We also want to finalize the specialty consultant contracts for benefits, retirement, HR, and legal services. We have a RFP that's closing for HR services, which includes a lot of the complexity of the services that we're looking into. And that should, we should have a consultant on board or identified probably by the end of this month, hopefully. And looking forward for 2023, continuing our momentum, we have the HR specialized consultant in January. We're looking for additional HR positions in March. We're specifically looking for a senior personnel analyst and a personnel analyst. And then sometime in July, we're looking at probably an additional senior personnel analyst and then a personnel tech to kind of help with that transition and getting some of the workload off of the HR manager too. The districts will start initiating the last remaining services. Like I said, we've initiated 9 out of the 12 or 13 that we started. The ones that we haven't have been environmental review and clerk of the board, which we're scheduling out shortly. MOUs for the services that will remain with the county, we're wanting to work on that and get those kind of finalized and identified so we can get that behind us. And then 6 out of the 10 services that we mentioned are scheduled to be completed in 2023, and that includes fleet, CMID, Cubs, IT, real estate, and legal. So as you can see, 2023 is anticipated to be a very busy year for staff, on top of all the other stuff that we have to work on. So now I'm going to pass it on to Tepa, but before I do, I want to extend for especially the new ones or even the old ones that have been here for a while. If you need any more additional information on the staffing services or any of these projects, feel free to reach out or have your staff reach out and we can give a little bit more thorough explanation. Tepa? Did you have a question?
I do, Matt, and I'm maybe getting in the weeds a little bit or ahead of myself, but I was just curious, as we look to merge the districts, I would assume there might be some duplication of positions or some streamlining that would happen. And if so, if that assumption is correct, do we have an overarching policy of how we'll deal with that as far as will we look to Y-rate the individuals? Will we keep them funded in the short term and not backfill them as attrition happens? Or what's our kind of goal with respect to, as we combine positions but keeping the people whole?
Christoph, do you want to take that? Or?
Sure, I'll take it. It's a challenging process to go because we have positions internal to the district already, and those are straightforward. They will just remain and become district. But then we have these parts of FTE, of full-time equivalent employees, that are scattered around the county providing different services for us, not entirely just for us, but they also work for others. So the approach we're taking, like for example of HR, is if you do just a standard rule of thumb, we have 800 employees that might be supported by about 8 HR professionals. So we're looking at getting around 5 or so. And with consultant help, so that we're definitely under, staying under where we need to be, and then we sort of adjust over time. At the same time, we have to work with the county. We don't want to set up a situation where they have a bunch of people who don't have any work to do. Fortunately, the county is a lot larger than us, so they have the ability to absorb that probably pretty easily through attrition. But it's really just going to be a coordination back and forth with the district and the county to figure out, because we may employ some of those people. Some of those 5 positions are likely, to be coming from the county. They could be an outside person as well, but we'll do a competitive hiring process. But it could come from the county anyway, and so they might then choose to leave that position vacant. It's clunky, but that's just kind of how we're going to have to do it gradually.
Okay. We're kind of used to dealing with fluid situations, so.
That's what this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just to add to that, as we've been stepping through this process, we meet with the county, and part of the analysis is to see if there's anybody dedicated providing that service to the districts. Unfortunately, what we've seen is that usually we're just a customer of, and there's multiple people working on multiple different departments. But there have been opportunities that we're analyzing to see if there's an opportunity to take that individual or go through the hiring process. And if we were to hire that person, then they wouldn't necessarily backfill. What Christoph said was basically we want to make sure that we, the county, we don't put them in a bad spot.
And we don't overstaff on our side either. Yeah.
Matt, just one more question. Sorry. Yeah, I put a request pending, but I don't think Chair.
Make sure you clear that when you're done speaking.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure Chair Sander can see it. Right.
Yeah.
So feel free to finish.
I don't know. I thought somebody was speaking, but I know this process has been happening for a while now. So I beg your pardon, being new active member on this board, if this has already been covered. I was just wondering what kind of outreach has been done to the current employees, because they might have some angst on all this, and if there's been any feedback to the transition.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll go ahead and take that. We've done quite a bit, actually. We started off, I think probably the first thing was a series of meetings after I became the district engineer, which was a little over a year ago, just meeting with small groups and letting them know we're thinking about this. We hadn't even gotten board approval at that time. Then we had an all-hands meeting last, I'm going to think it's maybe spring or so, but we had an all-hands meeting where we told them what we had planned and gave them opportunity to answer questions or ask questions. Then more recently, we actually did we call it a pulse survey. We sent out a survey and said, hey, of these 3 initiatives, what are your concerns? What are you worried about? And we got close to 100 responses from that. So we got a kind of a treasure trove of all the things that people are worried about. And then I'm actually doing videos where basically there's a lot of themes. A lot of people have similar questions, so we're not going to answer every question, but we're going to get to that theme. And so I have a series of videos that will cover topics like, what are the contractors that are working for us? What is their situation? Just explaining what the different initiatives are. What's our retirement going to be like? All of those things. So we're putting a lot of material out there for them, and that's the approach we're trying to take. We also have an organization development group that one of their big tasks is change management, and this is a huge change management effort. So we're trying to get in front of this, knowing that there's going to be a lot of angst with employees.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. And of those 100 things that you were talking about, do you feel that those have been laid to rest now?
I wouldn't say laid to rest, because what I'm doing is kind of biting them off topic by topic and creating little videos. So that takes some time.
Oh,
it's also evolving. So some of them I want to wait a little bit so have some good answers to give them. But I've started to address a number of them. Yeah. So it's a process. It's fluid.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So before I step off again, are there any additional questions for the staffing services? All right.
I don't see anyone in Zoom with their hand raised.
Okay.
Good Good morning, Chair and members of the board. My name is Tepa Banda. I'm the Director of Finance. I'm going to speak to the Finance and Treasury initiatives. Most of this initiative was centered around the cash investments, moving that responsibility to the districts, and most of that work started ahead of this One District Proper initiative. And I think by 2021, in July, the board adopted an investment policy to guide investments of our monies. And so that sort of kick-started this process and set up the stage for what we're able to accomplish in 2022. So part of that investment policy also designated this position, the Director of Finance position, as a treasurer. So with that on the books, staff towards the end of 2021, went out with an RFP to hire an investment advisor, and that contract was approved in January of 2022. So we started off the year, just checking off those boxes. A few months later, we engaged a custodian bank. So we needed these two things in place because when we move our money from the county, we need to put it to a bank, our own bank account. So that's what the custodian bank would do. And then the investment advisor would help us with just the investment decisions of managing our portfolio. And then through a few months later, around May, June, where the investment advisory committee was established. This is a standing subcommittee of the board that would be able to give more focused advice and get reports from staff on how we're doing on the investment front. And that committee first met, I think, in July of last year. And one of the things they did was they did make an adjustment to the investment policy where they added a restriction on making sure the district does not invest in securities that support, fossil fuels. And then we also engaged with the county to come up with an MOU, which essentially sets the process for how we will withdraw those funds that we have with the county and move them over to the custodian bank. So we were successful in executing that, and we brought it to the board in August, and that was approved. So we were able now to start withdrawing those funds, and we started in September. So as you know, the district has a healthy set of cash reserves for different purposes, and so we identified a schedule that we were going to do that. That way we don't disrupt the county treasury as much. And so we've been withdrawing those funds on a monthly basis starting in September, October. And by December, we have essentially withdrawn almost all the funds that we could easily withdraw. We still have some reserves in the general operating reserves that we have to study a bit because we can't just move all of that because it's there for operating emergencies. So we'll have to do some cash analysis to make sure we don't take out too much. Because part of the agreement we have with the county is we don't want to keep taking money back and forth between the treasury and the district. So we're able to do that. And at this point, that was mainly the agenda for the cash investments. And so by the end of 2022, we were pretty much done with that. And so going to this year, we don't have much left. We'll just look at the final piece of our cash reserves and see how much of that we'll be able to move. And in the first half of this year, I think that will be complete. And there are a few other treasury services that we'll pivot to look at and see how, working with like staffing services, staffing transition services, see how we might move those things like banking for other operating funds and things of that nature. So our schedule is pretty thin in 2023, and that's essentially should wrap up this initiative to a successful completion, I believe. Any questions?
We do not have anyone signed to speak in chambers, and I do not see anyone with their hand raised in Zoom.
No public comment?
No, sir, no public comment.
All right. Thank you, Tepa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, staff, for that update. This is a really exciting process we're going through. I think it's one in which we can find some great efficiencies. So I look forward to hearing more about that. If there's no objection, we are going to move on to item number 3, District Engineer Matters.
All right, I'll go ahead and start off this. Our January 25th board meeting is canceled. Again, for the new members, we do our best to see if we can consolidate. Our normal schedule is second and fourth Wednesdays, but we try to look for opportunities to cancel meetings and consolidate the items. And so this will be our only meeting this month. February 8th will be our next meeting. And then just wanted to mention again for the new members, first of all, welcome, but also that we'll be reaching out to set up briefings if you want to get a little bit more information about both of the districts. And I believe also if you're just on the Regional Sand Board, we'll probably do the Sac Sewer briefing as well because within the next year or so you will be on both boards. So anyway, look for that and we'll get you briefed. That's all I had.
All right, very good. With that, I guess we'll move on to item number 4.
Item number 4 is acting as a Sacramento Regional County. Oh, this is a consent item number 4.
Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District and the Sacramento Sewer District, consent item number 4.
Correct. I don't see any members with their hands raised, and we do not have any public comments.
Okay, I'm open for a motion.
Desmond moves approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Oh, sorry, can't do it that way. Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Still die hard.
Thank you. Member Daniels?
Aye.
Frost? Aye. Swin?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Robles?
Aye.
Sander?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
Orozco? Thank you. Aquino?
Aye.
Thank you. Aquino?
Aye.
Cerna?
Aye.
Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vang?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Villegas?
Yes.
And Desmond.
Aye.
And the motion carries with those members present.
Very good. We are moving on to public comment, item number 5.
We do not have any, we did not receive any requests to speak, and we do not have anyone in chambers signed up to speak.
Okay, then item number 6, and we are here as the Sacramento Regional County Sanitation District with consent matters. That's items 6 through 12. Any member have any question or comments with any of these consent matters? Any member of the public have any questions or comments about these consent matters?
I do not have any, we did not receive any requests to speak for any of the items.
Okay, I'm open for a motion.
Hume, move the item. Second, soon.
Motion made and seconded a couple of times. Roll call, please.
Daniels?
Aye.
Frost? Aye. Swin?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Robles?
Aye.
Sorry, hold on a moment. I just wanted to make sure that these are for both districts. Oh, it's just regional sanitation. Okay, thank you, sorry. Member Sander?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
Orozco? Aquino?
Aye.
Cerna?
Aye.
Valenzuela?
Yes.
Vang?
Yes.
Kaplan?
Yes.
Villegas?
Aye.
And Desmond.
Aye.
And the motion carries with those members present.
All right, very good. We are now sitting as the Sacramento Area Sewer District, and we have a consent matter in front of us, item number 13. Are there any other questions or comments about this? Any public comment about this?
I don't see any members signed up to speak, and we do not have any public comments in chambers or online.
Desmond moves
All right.
approval.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Member Frost seconded in chambers.
Very good. Roll call,
Thank you.
please.
Daniels? Daniels? Swin?
Aye.
Kennedy?
Aye.
Hume?
Aye.
Aquino?
Aye.
Cerna.
Aye.
Bang.
Yes.
Sander. Frost.
Aye.
And Desmond.
Aye.
And the motion carries.
All right, and that brings us to miscellaneous matters, communications received and filed, and item number 14.
No
Back-
actions necessary for that, for the miscellaneous matters.
Received and filed, I see. Okay. With that, if there is nothing else to come in front of our two agencies, I think we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.